Hey, it's Shane with GotRom.com.
And I'm Matt Shue from Upright Health.
And we're going to take you through a non-gymnast guide to the pike. So I'm going to have Matt be my dummy here, and he's going to test his pike position, his forward fold. And just so you know, he's done no stretching, no warm-up, so no hating on him in the comments. But let's see what his starting point is for his pike.
Write all your hate comments. All of them. Share them all. Here we go.
All right, good.
That's it.
That's what he's got. So I'm going to take him through 4 exercises that you can follow along and do with us on your own and improve your own pike. So the first exercise is kind of a beginner level hamstring stretch. So Matt has hooked a band up around his foot. He's going to straighten his leg and keep this leg bent to start. And then he's just going to pull in this direction. And he's feeling a big stretch right here. He's going to do a couple things. He's either just going to take a big breath and then exhale. And when he releases, he's going to take up the slack a little bit, just to a comfortable level. The next thing he can do to make it a little harder is he can actually straighten this leg if he wanted to. If this leg is straight and this leg is straight, it gets much more intense. So if you need a bent knee or a straight leg, whatever's appropriate for you. So he's still just breathing and relaxing. The next thing he can do is a little PNF, contract and relax. So what he's going to do is he's going to push his heel in this direction. He's going to hold his breath, push his heel in this direction, and he's resisting it by pulling in the opposite direction. He's playing tug-of-war with himself. And then on an exhale, he takes up the slack. So how long do you hold your breath? How long do you contract? Maybe 3 to 5 seconds. And the exhales. One more time, he's going to take a big breath. Hold it, resist. He's pushing and pulling in opposite directions, and then relaxes. The very last technique he can try is just to oscillate in and out of range. So he's going to back out a little bit, and he's just going to kind of pull himself towards his end ranges in a way that feels comfortable. This just gets the muscles used to being at end range. So he's got 3 tools in his toolbox. Breathe and relax. Contract where he's pushing his muscles, and relax. Or just oscillating at end range. Now there's one other little subtle thing that I want to show you here. He's not just pulling here, there's also a little bit of activity in here, which means his quads on this side are slightly pulling to pull him deeper into the stretch. So when he contracts on this side, this lengthens a little bit more, and it also gives him some active control of his end ranges. So don't just passively pull yourself into position, also actively pull into position. So now he's going to do the other side, and then we'll do the next exercise. So one more little bonus way of stretching the hamstrings here. Matt's going to bend his leg and then kick his heel like he's trying to press the ceiling away. He's going to kick his leg straight. So he's bent the leg and then he straightens it. Notice he fully locks out this leg. It's completely straight, which gets kind of intense. So you just touch that end range and then back out. Touch that end range and then back out. So to do that, he's firing his quads on this side. He's firing these quads to straighten the leg. And just touching that end range, getting the hamstrings used to extending fully. So these are beginner hamstring stretches with a band. You also can use a rope or a strap or a towel or anything that you can wrap around your foot. The next exercise is we created length in Matt's hamstrings during the first exercise. Now we're going to create strength on his quads to help his forward fold, his pike. So Matt's going to have his fingertips on the ground. He's pointing his toes. His legs are completely locked out straight, no bend in the knee. And then he's going to lift his feet up into the air 10 times and come back down as high as he can. And he's going to try to not lean far, far back. He just stays kind of upright. Hey, upright health,
I don't get it. What's the joke?
So he does 10 of these, and then he's going to hold the last one and pulse. He's just going to try to do little pulses, little taps. You should feel a big cramp developing in your quads here. And then once he does 10 little pulses, then he relaxes. Whew, nice. So now that Matt has created a little bit of length and the hamstrings, create a little strength in the quads. He's now going to put it all together and actually go into a pike-like position, and then I'm going to show him a couple exercises. So the first thing is borrowed from yoga, just the traditional kind of forward fold and touch the ground. So he's bowing. Now note, Matt should feel all of this completely in his hamstrings, not at all in his low back. If you feel this in your low back, you need to either come up a little higher or try to pull with your hip flexors to pull your pelvis and tip your pelvis forward so you feel it more in your hamstrings. So he's here, he's going to take an inhale, and on the inhale he's going to lift up and lengthen his spine until he gets to a flat back. And then on an exhale, he sinks a little bit lower. When you do this, you should feel on the exhale, your hamstrings kind of release a little bit more. So you're going to do it 2 more times. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, relax. 1 last time. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, relax. The next thing he's going to do is he's going to turn his palms face down, interlace his fingers, and he's going to do some kind of pulsing. So he's just going to bounce, little tiny bounces, bouncing his hands off of the ground. And really what's happening here is his quads here are contracting to pull him into that position. It's not so, he's not lurching with his upper body, it's his hip flexors pulling him deeper into that position. So you can do 20 pulses where you're just touching the ground, touch, touch, touch. Try to keep your legs. The last thing he's going to do is he's going to actually grab his ankles and just get into a full pike position. He's going to tuck his chin and use his arm strength now to pull him a little bit farther into the stretch, and just breathe. You should feel this pretty intensely on the back of the hamstrings. And you can use any of your techniques that we practiced before. Breathe and relax. Contract your muscles and then relax them. Or wiggle or bounce. And then let's see a final test. How can you get nose to nose as close to your shins as possible? Not too shabby. So that's maybe 5 minutes of work for Matt. He's not a gymnast, he's not training for the Olympics, but he is someone who wants to move well. He doesn't want to have any back pain, so he's training his hamstring flexibility. So if you are not a gymnast, but you still want to be flexible in your pike, give those exercises a shot.
Yeah, be cool, just move with me.